I first got into the harp guitar in 2006 after watching Michael Hedges' video on YouTube. It was the piece Because It's There, and what I loved about it was this possibility of these extra bass strings and the resonance that the instrument has compared to a normal guitar. I was mesmerized by this video, and so I went in search of a harp guitar, and I found a wonderful guitar maker called Stephen Sedgwick in the UK. I bought one of his guitars and then also used a guitar by Lucas Brunner, which is a collapsible, foldable 18-string guitar. But these two guitars were steel string guitars, and whilst it helped me to develop as a musician in a different way, I'm fundamentally a classical guitarist, and so I was missing a lot of my technique, which couldn't be really used on a steel string guitar. In October 2011, I received a very funny email from a guy called Sean Woolley. And the email said, "Dear Jason, my name is Sean. I'm a harp guitar maker based in France, and I'd like to come and visit you." And I couldn't believe it because there are so few harp guitar makers in the world. So of course, anytime, come and visit. Sean had embarked on making harp guitars without even knowing someone who could play them. He just loved the idea of this instrument. And I loved what Sean was trying to do. So together we embarked on a journey in developing or helping Sean to develop classical harp guitars. And since then, Sean has gone all over the place with the way he's developed these things in a wonderful way. So the first guitar he made was very good, and I played that for about 18 months. And he's kept making and making and making. And the one I currently have, I've had now for about 3.5 years. What I love about Sean's attitude towards making harp guitars is that he'll just try anything. So he'll change wood thicknesses, he'll change the bracing, he'll study what was in traditional Spanish guitars, and he'll just put it in. But Sean doesn't only make harp guitars, he also makes classical guitars. He's made a harp ukulele, a harp mandolin, a half-size harp guitar, a Requinto harp guitar. And Sean's always said that the smaller the body, the more powerful the projection. In my experience, to get a good concert instrument, you need, of course, a combination of tone and projection. And you find a lot of instruments that have good tone, but are very quiet, or other instruments that have great projection, but are very ugly sounding. And Sean has really honed his abilities in enabling him to produce concert harp guitars that have both. And so what I have in my hands now is a harp guitar that I can do pretty much all the things I did with a steel string, but also bring in my whole classical flamenco guitar technique, because when you try and play flamenco or Spanish guitar on a steel string guitar, it just sounds awful, it doesn't work. Classical guitars have a very distinct tone which comes from the wood. And Sean, as a European guitar maker, understands that more because it's part of the European tradition. He has a great approach to making instruments. He's made a fretless harp guitar for John Pickard. The harp guitars that I have 6 bass strings and 6 guitar strings, but he's currently working on a model which has 7 bass strings and 7 guitar strings. And Sean loves these new challenges of sort of broadening the perspective of what the instrument is. And that's one of the wonderful things about harp guitar makers and harp guitars generally, is that they're all different. You can find harp guitars that have 20, 30, 40 strings, or even 10, 12, 14 strings. Different sizes, different shapes, with different sound holes. And so, as a musician, I love the fact that I have a luthier friend who just loves to experiment with his craft. So if any of you are embarking on the fascinating and wonderful harp guitar journey, I would urge you to contact Sean, because Sean is so open to ideas and flexible with how he makes instruments. He will do something with his own creativity and with his own ideas, but will mold those things into what you want. And that's one of the great things about what Sean does. So chapeau to Sean Woolley, as they say in French.